Hi guys and welcome to my channel. So my name's Queenie and in today's video, my first ever video, I want to talk to you guys about my top 10 tips for renting a property in the UK. So that's something that you want to know. Grab a cup of tea, the true English way, and stay tuned. Me and my sister have been living in our property that we've rented for about 3 months now. We decided while we were in the middle of a pandemic.
Ooh, it's a pandemic!
Anyway, and we just decided that, that was what we wanted to do. That was kind of what was good for us at the time. So we decided that we were going to move, and we moved from West Yorkshire and we moved to Northamptonshire. So we pretty much moved counties in the middle of the pandemic. Like, I keep saying in the middle of the pandemic because, that changes the experience like a lot. We did it with pretty much minimal education. Like, we didn't even look into what we should ask, all of this sort of stuff. Like, it wasn't until we were kind of in it that we were like, oh my days, we need to learn about this, we need to figure out this, we need to figure out this. So while this whole experience was going on and now settled, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a little video, and I'm hoping that my little tips and my experience that I've had could kind of help someone out there, make the experience a little bit more enjoyable, a little less stressful. I'm not an expert, this is literally just based on my personal experience. So without further ado, tip number 1. Before you think about moving, like for real, go onto the property letting websites, have a look at the place that you're looking to move into, and find out how much things are, like all this, like houses are or flats are, or if you're looking to house share, whatever. Go and look and see how much it is to do that, because people always say budget first. But for me personally, I think, how can I budget if I don't even know how much things are? So my first tip would be, go on these property letting websites, put in the criteria that you're looking for, and have a look and see how much things are in the area that you want to move in. Tip number 2. It's so important to educate yourself on the cost of having your own place. So, things like food shopping, gas and electric, heating, internet, TV license, council tax, water bill.
A few moments later.
The list goes on, but you need to find out, speak to other people that watch YouTube videos, like ask your parents if you still live there, find out, get a rough idea of how much these things are, so that, you kind of can count the cost. So that moves on to tip number 3. So once you've seen how much it is to live wherever it is that you want to live, and you know how much it is to pay your bills, now you can budget. So now what you've got to do, you can, if you're old school, grab a pen and paper, write down everything. If you're a little bit more modern, get your Excel spreadsheet out, put in everything, including your current bills, so stuff like your mobile phone, your car if you have a car, bus ticket if you're using public transportation, petrol, stuff like that. Write it all down. No bill is too small, because trust me, when you live on your own, $11.99 makes a difference, $7.99 makes a difference. So write everything down, your gym membership, everything. Write it down and see whether, with the job that you've got or you're going to have, are you going to be able to afford it, and are you able to have wriggle room? Okay, so like if you are earning, I don't know, 1.5 a month, your bills cannot be £1,450. No, you must have wriggle room, because things can go wrong and you need to be able to have money to sort it out, because once you move out on your own,
You are now officially an adult, okay? Adult responsibilities.
So make sure that you count the cost, budget, get your money in check, and leave yourself space for wriggle room and savings. Tip number 4. So now that you've got your money in check, you know how much things are going to be, the next thing you need to get in check is your paperwork. Like, your paperwork has to be in check for renting as well. So by paperwork, I mean like your ID, your passport. If you're not a British citizen, you need, proof of right of residency. You need your bank details. You need evidence of your current address. You need employment details, how much you're going to earn. They're going to want to see whether you can afford the cost of living in that place. You need, if you've got bad credit as well, you need a guarantor. Get all of these things in check, because the thing is with the property market is it moves
very, very, very quickly.
So if you find something that you like, you know, you've got to have everything in check, because if you don't, the landlord's gonna, or the letting agent's gonna find someone else who does. So make sure that you have all of this. So you have your budget and you have your paperwork in check. Once you have these things in check, then we can move on to tip number 5. You know, if you're going to move in with another person, or you're going to move in with a group of people, you need to make sure that you all have sat down together and said, this is something I definitely want, this is something I definitely don't want. Because what you don't want is a miscommunication, or you find somewhere and, you know, maybe you love it but they don't, and vice versa, and it's going to cause arguments. So you need to make sure that once you started looking for what you're looking for, places that you want to move into, that you've actually sat down and talked together about what it is exactly you do and don't want. Tip number 6, book as many viewings as you can in one day. Because if you start looking at, you know, property 1 on
Monday, you look at property 2 on Friday, and you look at property 3 on Saturday, and whenever
things aren't fresh in your mind, so therefore, you know, you can't make, I guess, the best decision, because you maybe might forget something about one place, or remember something more from one place, and things start to just merge together. So it's really important for me personally, or for me and my sister, it was really, really important that we booked as many viewings in one day as possible. But that leads us nicely to tip number 7. Tip number 7 is make notes. So by making notes, I mean pre-notes, so before you go into the property, and notes after you've seen the property. So before you see the property, for example, I would have put something like, I don't know, Forest Hill Drive, and I'd make notes of the crime rates in the area, the amenities in the area, so the shops in the area. I'd make notes of the transportation links in the area, commuting, you know, going to work, how long would it take me, stuff like that, whether the property was furnished or unfurnished, like that, and notes that I would make like before. Then after seeing the property, then I would, you know, I've asked questions of the property. That's very important, guys, to ask questions. I won't go through all the questions to ask now because there's a lot, but definitely go online and have a look and see questions that you need to ask. So another thing that I would check as well would be, when I'm in the property, I would be looking for mold, damp spots, you know, I'd be looking for musty smells, I'd be checking
windows, are they double glazed? I'd be checking the toilet, I'd flush it, see what the water pressure was like, I would turn on the shower.
Like, honestly guys, don't be shy to do stuff like that, because do you know what, you're spending your coins to pay the landlord, so you should feel free to check these sorts of things. You need to walk around the neighbourhood as well and get a feel of the place. Are the neighbours friendly? Are they nosy? Are they loud? Are they dirty? You know, things like this, which may seem like, you know, really minuscule to start with, but once you start living in a property, the neighbours can make or break your experience. So tip number 8. So tip number 8 would be make a good impression. Okay, so it's really important that, you know, when you come and view the property, whether it's the landlord that's showing you the property or whether it's the letting agency that's showing you the property, make a good impression. You know, your physical appearance needs to look good, you need to look responsible, you need to sound responsible, you know, just come correct, just look good, because essentially the landlord and or letting agency want to let the property to somebody who they believe or they think is going to be able to pay the bills and look after the house and keep it clean and keep it in order. They're not going to want to they're not going to want to rent it out to somebody who looks a bit shady, who looks a bit like, you know, they can't look after the property. I mean, if your physical appearance looks unkempt, they're going to automatically assume that the property is going to be unkempt. So just make sure that when you come in for your viewing, that you're looking correct, you're looking smart, you're looking sharp. You know, I'm not asking you to wear business wear, but just look okay, look presentable. So tip number 9 would be don't stress. Try and relax. because moving home is an exciting thing, and if you're prepared, it can actually be a fun thing as well. So, you know, don't get discouraged, stay positive. Like I said before, the property market is moving very, very, very quickly. So you might put in an application for a property that you really, really like, and you know, you might not get it, and it's not because you're not good enough or whatever, but someone else just got there before you. So this is why, like I said, like these steps that, you know, get all your paperwork and everything in check, because it just moves so quickly. But you must remember to stay positive. Just because you didn't get the property, don't take it personal. Just keep it moving, keep going on those property letting agencies, you know, go on these websites, have a look. Something that you like is bound to come up, so stay positive. So my last tip number 10, is like a bonus tip. So this is if you're a really comfortable kind of person. For me, what I did when I went in to view properties and stuff, and you know, I was happy with the property, and you know, I was about to sign contracts and stuff, what I did while the landlord was present is I took pictures of areas in the house that were maybe like there was chips in the areas, or maybe there was something broken or whatever. I took pictures of it, because what you don't want is a situation where they later come back to you at the end of your tenancy and say, you know, this wasn't there when you moved in, and they try and take it out of your deposit. Don't be shy to do it. I know that it can be a little bit awkward, look like you're doing too much, but honestly, I would highly recommend doing that. Don't be pressured, and don't feel bullied to sign any contracts either. Take your time and read it. Okay, take your time and read it. Have a look through it. Make sure you're happy. If there's anything you're unsure of, just ask. Just ask. You know, there is no harm in asking. At the end of the day, if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't ask for information, you don't get the information. So don't feel pressured, don't feel bullied. Make sure that you ask questions. Make sure that you are completely happy with the property before you sign any contracts, okay? And honestly, looking for properties can be fun, but it is much better experience if you have educated yourself. It's a little bit less stressful if you have educated yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that these tips are going to make your experience a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting, just take the stress down. If you did enjoy this video and would like to see more of these types of videos, please comment below, subscribe to my channel, make sure to like this video as well, share this video to anybody that might be moving and would like some tips as well, and don't forget to hit that notification button so every time I post a video you won't miss out. Bye!